Amid the backdrop of a weakening Chinese economy, a real-life political thriller is slowly unfolding. Wall Street's financial tycoons once dominated the Chinese capital market, manipulating the winds of change. However, without any warning, they withdrew and publicly talked down the Chinese economy. Is it the cold, hard economic data that forced them to do so, or are there deeper considerations manipulating everything behind the scenes? The Chinese government, renowned for its powerful market control, now seems unable to save the market. Are they truly powerless? Or amidst this seemingly crisis-ridden situation, do they have greater strategies and plans? On this complex stage, every character is constantly changing masks, performing a complicated game. Every decision, every move can potentially alter the direction of the game, affecting the future of countless ordinary people. JP Chase recently released a shocking report drastically downgrading its rating and target prices for country garden services and country garden property, with target price plunging by more than 65% and 50% respectively, and the two stocks also plummeted by 18% and 10%. This is obviously a lead into the short selling of country garden. In the financial halls of Wall Street, each report is built on complex data analysis, professional industry insights, and deep strategic thinking. Therefore, once Wall Street chooses to speak out, its influence will have far-reaching effects within the financial circle. Wall Street's recent short-selling stance on China's real estate giant, Country Garden, reflects their pessimistic sentiment towards the Chinese economy and gives indication of a decrease in their investment interest in China. Hence, they can question the prospects of the Chinese economy without any concerns. What impact might such action have? Primarily, it may cause anxiety among senior executives of highly indebted real estate companies, such as Sino-Ocean Group and Greenland, who may fear that their companies could also face the risk of rating downgrades. Therefore, they might quickly adopt strategies similar to those of Country Garden's management, selling off their own company's shares to cash out. This behavior could trigger a decline in these companies' share prices. With stock prices falling, Wall Street's major investment banks might further downgrade the ratings and target prices of these listed real estate companies, triggering further stock price crashes. During this process, retail investors may become the main bag holders, and they may find it difficult to find new bag holders. Consequently, these companies' stock prices may continue to fall, even facing the risk of delisting. If these influential private enterprises and second-tier state-owned enterprises fall one by one, leaving only central state-owned enterprises, the Chinese stock market will come under immense pressure, possibly facing a serious blow, and a large amount of capital may flow out. Therefore, Wall Street's move can be seen as a signal indicating that global capital is beginning to short the Chinese real estate market. In this severe context, news of losses in public fund investment keep pouring in. In the second quarter of 2023, public fund investment suffered a loss of as much as 344.5 billion yuan, and the annual loss may easily break the trillion mark. Such massive wealth shrinkage undoubtedly poses a severe impact on the Chinese public consumption capacity, adding a heavier burden to the economic problems faced by Chinese government. However, what's heartbreaking is that the current problem isn't just whether the Communist Party can find a solution, but worse still, the Communist Party seems to have chosen to accept the situation helplessly. The current economic situation in China is complex and ever-changing. According to the latest report released by Shanghai E-House Real Estate Research Institute, the real estate transaction area in 50 key cities across the country declined by 33% from July 1st to 20th compared to June. And the real estate development surface area also dropped by over 30%, indicating that the real estate market has entered a stagnation phase. In the meeting of the CCP Central Political Bureau, Xi Jinping did not provide a specific solution, but merely emphasized the active expansion of domestic demand. His reference to the real estate market was to adjust and optimize policies timely. He did not use his usual fervent rhetoric such as roll up your sleeves and work hard, or bayonet, see red, and the official jargon he used this time implies a conservative attitude towards the real estate market. With a series of significant changes on the international stage, including Putin's withdrawal from the 2024 presidential election and the end of the Ukraine war, China's international status and the challenges it faces may undergo significant adjustments. The United States, as a world superpower, may potentially focus more attention and resources on the China issue, and this critical turning point will undoubtedly have a significant impact on China's domestic and foreign policies. In addition, the economic issues, domestic social stability, and public trust in China have been sporadically compromised. The recent Hebei gas explosion that devastated the entire street has led some analysts to suspect that such a major disaster couldn't have been triggered by ordinary citizens easily. It's highly probable that it was plotted by anti-Xi Jinping factions within the Chinese Communist Party. Thus, Xi Jinping pays extra attention to internal stability. Currently, 21 cities are establishing emergency equipment for both peacetime and wartime, ostensibly preparing for war, but in reality, it is more about maintaining internal stability. Simultaneously, China's image is also being challenged on the international stage. At the recent Chengdu University's opening ceremony, when the teams from Japan and South Korea entered the stadium, an eerie silence descended as if a cold wind had swept through. Even more shocking was when the team from Chinese Taipei made their entrance. Slogans calling from the reunification of the motherhood echoed throughout the venue. This spectacle raises question: is China using this occasion to convey its stance on foreign relations to the world in a special way? However, this behavior has not received praise from China's top leader. On the contrary, Xi Jinping is quite displeased with the situation, fearing it could be interpreted globally as an ungraceful act by China. Therefore, he demanded a thorough investigation into the matter. It's understood that the audience allowed into the Universiade's opening ceremony had gone through strict vetting. There had to be a party member with no criminal activities within 3 generations and no record of credit default to qualify for the ceremony tickets. Once they obtained tickets, they underwent uniform training, which included the cold violence towards the Japanese and South Korean teams and the unification slogan of the Chinese Taipei team. At the same time, media supervision is also being strengthened to further control the spread of information. This can be seen from the recent crackdown on top media figures. Dong Yuyu, the chairman of Guangming Daily, and Chen Feng, the chairman of the paper, have both been arrested. Undoubtedly a warning and strengthening of media control. The government has issued a series of new prevention and control measures against monkeypox, which has aroused widespread concern from all walks of life. What is worrisome is that these measures seem to specifically emphasize prevention and control against certain groups, such as citizens who often protest publicly. The government's monitoring and detection of these people's diseases far exceed other groups, which raises a concern. Is the government restricting the freedom of this part of the population under the guise of disease control? In addition, the new prevention and control measures have had a huge impact on the freedom of assembly. When an outbreak is discovered, the location will be closed, and anyone who has participated in a gathering needs to be quarantined for 21 days. Such policies undoubtedly have a great deterrent effect on public gatherings. Most notably, these new prevention and control measures were not released under the premise of the pandemic, but during a period when the Chinese economy was facing challenges. Therefore, some observers suspect that the CCP government may be using disease control as a cover to divert the public's attention from China's economic difficulties, and thus enabling the government to more effectively control society. However, this is only a part of the recent policy adjustment, reflecting the government's strengthening of social control. The newly implemented Beijing Anti-Terrorism Act has put in place a stricter real name system for Beijing's accommodation, postal services, and drone usage. For the illegal use of drones, the government will take severe measures, including confiscation or even destruction of drones. Although this approach is officially described as harmless approach, it greatly infringes on the public's rights, especially when leaders' decisions can be based on their personal preference or emotions. If the leader likes your drone, they may choose to confiscate it. Otherwise, if your behavior displeases them, your drone may be directly destroyed. At the same time, the urban village reform plan led by the National Development and Reform Commission in large cities has increased the public's anxiety about shrinking living spaces. For a long time, urban villages have been the breeding ground for low-cost services and illicit activities such as official seal replication and ID card transaction. With the comprehensive rectification of urban villages, the space for these activities will be restricted, and landlords who rent property to unqualified service providers may face pressure from falling income. Therefore, for many people, the renovation of urban villages signifies the end of an era. The days when they could make a living with meager income will gradually disappear. However, the bigger horror lies in the serious problems faced by the Chinese Rocket Army recently, which has triggered infighting within the CCP and brought unprecedented challenges to Xi Jinping. The Chinese Rocket Army is responsible for missile launches, but has recently encountered obstacles in key chip technology. Chips are the heart of the missile navigation system. Without advanced chips, China's missile strength may be greatly weakened. What is more worrying is that the Rocket Army may obtain foreign chips technology through illegal channels, which may pose a risk to national secret leakage. How was this problem revealed? In April of this year, the FBI of the United States arrested a 21-year-old American network engineer who publicly posted a large number of the U.S. confidential documents on social media, including U.S. economic documents and test fire analysis reports of the Dongfeng 27 intercontinental missile. This case alerted the Chinese government to the issue of information leakage. Although military chips are larger in size, theoretically China should be able to manufacture them on their own using domestic lithography machines. However, the Netherlands has now stopped exporting lithography machines to China, and Japan has also stopped providing raw materials. Therefore, China cannot self-produce chips that meet missile needs and can only purchase from the West through various civilian companies. But buying chips requires detailed parameters, which provides the opportunity for Chinese Rocket Army's confidential documents to be leaked. The last revelation is even more startling. All the chips used in the Dongfeng 27 intercontinental missiles are made in the USA. This implies that the moment China's intercontinental missiles is launched, its location could be immediately detected by the US, enabling effortless interception. In effect, these missiles have lost their combat power. This technological conundrum has forced Xi Jinping to alter his military strategy, seeking to form closer ties with neighboring countries like North Korea and Russia. Shifting from a global military confrontation primarily against the US and Taiwan to a more localized geopolitical focus, reliant on alliance with North Korea and Russia. As a result of the series of challenges China currently faces, Wall Street analysts have started to express pessimism about China's economic prospects. First, the technological bottleneck in chip manufacturing renders China vulnerable in key military areas, undoubtedly raising concerns about China's future security. Moreover, Xi Jinping's new strategy, namely shifting from global military confrontation to alliances with neighboring countries such as North Korea and Russia, also raises doubts about China's future global influence. Furthermore, domestic policy reforms such as the squeeze on public living spaces and the deflection of public attention from economic woes through epidemic control measures may result in social instability, further hindering economic development. Taking these factors into account, Wall Street has begun to bet against China, predicting a likely worsening of China's economic situation in the future. With the inevitable alliance with Russia and North Korea, economic development is no longer as paramount, and people live in supply-based society where what each person gets is dependent on available resources. This is why Xi Jinping keeps emphasizing the importance of food, pushing for an alliance with Russia, as food and energy are the foundation of survival. All these policies demonstrate Xi Jinping's strategy: isolation from the world, cutting off ties with the US. Faced with this real-life political thriller, the future for the common people in China is filled with unknowns and uncertainty.